Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaimudire. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, 1 second. Database is not responding. Is it my internet or some other problem? Oh. Recording in progress. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hey, what is this? I'm reading something else. Oh. We finished this. I think. Yeah. Go. What's wrong with this? Yeah. 9.5.17 was overlooking my offenses, you have saved my life. Thus, I am very much obliged to you because you are so merciful. So, Durvasa Muni realized his grave mistake, and seeing that Ambarīṣa Mahārāja so mercifully prayed for his protection from Sudarshana, though he had planned to kill Ambarīṣa. So Durvasa Muni was very, very repentant. So, and he's saying, you overlooked my offenses. Again, we've been talking about these offenses. So we have to make sure that we avoid offenses. Avoid offenses with devotees. Unfortunately, this Vaishnava Pra, the way it works is that devotees who are doing offense, they actually will not realize anything happening immediately. It's not like some thunderbolt will strike. But what will happen is their progress is hampered, and they slowly, gradually lose their taste in chanting, hearing, devotion, everything. It just goes. So we have to be very, very careful about offenses. Shastra says that one loses taste for Krishna consciousness if one does offenses. So I've been talking about this, but more required to tell. Again and again, it's the same thing. No new instruction, nothing. It's the same thing for us, right? Don't talk about other devotees. Simple. Don't talk about other devotees. If you're concerned about something, be concerned about service, if at all. And if in case there is some discrepancy in service and something needs to be improved, without bothering too much about who that person is, the matter can be taken up for higher authorities for correction. But we should stop talking about other devotees. Why stop talking? Actually, Shastra says that we have to glorify other devotees, but unfortunately, because we don't, we can't glorify. We don't have the habit of glorifying other devotees. So what happens is we end up criticizing, right? And that's a recipe for disaster. Our devotion will just get killed. Thus, I'm very much obliged to you because you are so merciful. So Durvasa Muni is feeling that, he's obliged because in spite of that, big offense of wanting to kill him, Ambarīṣa Mahārāja, without consideration, just prayed that he be saved from Sudarshana. Like, we can't imagine actually, somebody in our lives, obviously, it's not that such grave situations happen, but small situations happen, but we take it like worse than death, right? And we just very happy speaking about other devotees, right? We should stop this. Just stop this. It's a very, very bad habit, extremely bad habit. Anyway, I mean, how much ever I stress on this point, it is not sufficient because it just doesn't go into our head, and we keep continuing to do it. So once somebody asked this question to His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, saying that why when we come into Krishna consciousness, initially we feel very happy, and we feel that something, we are experiencing the reality of Krishna consciousness, but then over a period of time, what happens? And Prabhu simply said, saying that that is because of offenses that we do, which means that it's the normal way of life, unfortunately, for a devotee in ISKCON to just offend devotees. Because we don't think that they are Vaishnavas. This is our problem. We somehow think that we are Vaishnavas for some reason, and we don't think the others are Vaishnavas. Such an illusion, isn't it? So this is very, very important. And see, Krishna consciousness means one should be happy in Krishna consciousness. I mean, it's the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Even our acharyas, though they were in the stage of prema, etc., they were happy because you're supposed to assume, saying that preachers, if we are always sad, why will people come to Krishna consciousness? They'll say, I'm already sad outside. And if I come here also, I'm going to remain sad. So I'm going to come. So we can't remain pensive, very deep inside our own, whether we are sad because we are not sufficiently Krishna consciousness, or we are sad because we are too much Krishna consciousness, both are not good. That is private affair. Your sadness should be a private affair. But for those devotees who have not made progress in Krishna consciousness because of committing offenses, they will never experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Never. So it's very, very dangerous. You can't over stress this. Verse 18. Rajatam makritaharah pratyagamana kankshaya charana sanghriya prasadya samabhojayat. Expecting the return of Durvasa Muni, the king had not taken his food for 1 year. Therefore, when the sage returned, the king fell at his lotus feet, pleasing him in all respects, and fed him sumptuously. Will we do that? If we do that, then we are making progress. Somebody has offended us, we go and fall at their feet. Not they coming and falling at our feet, we go and fall at their feet. That's why I'm saying this one is like, this episode is, in English there is one saying, beyond pay grade. Beyond pay grade means that you are doing something, and then if you're asked to do something beyond your work profile, then you say it's beyond my pay grade. Meaning it's high, like whatever, it's not for me. I have not reached that stage like that, So Ambarīṣa Mahārāja's pastime, at least for me, is beyond my pay grade. It's really difficult. Now maybe I will implement this. I have a situation for this, so let me see if I'll implement this. Because looks like somebody is upset with me for no reason. I've not really done anything. Actually, in fact, I've only wanted to do good for them, for their family, but somehow the devotee seems to think otherwise. So then I was saying that, okay, I will just ignore. But looks like Ambarīṣa Mahārāja, Bhagavatam is teaching me something else. So, okay, I can try this. When the sage returned, the king fell at his lotus feet, pleasing him in all respects, and fed him sumptuously. He had not eaten. So he didn't say, finish fast, finish fast. Finish fast. I also have to eat next. He fed him sumptuously. So ashitva dhritam anitam atithyam sarvakamikam triptatma nripatim praha bhujyatam iti sadaram. Thus the king respectfully received Durvasa Muni, who after eating varieties of palatable food was so satisfied with that great affection. That great affection. He requested the king to eat, also saying, please take your meal. See how we can change behavior of demons, atheists, etc. by our humility, our surrender. Ambarīṣa Mahārāja did not speak. He did not speak. Without saying a word, he changed Durvasa Muni's mindset. Durvasa Muni is requesting the king. So that's why, some of these, it's like just so amazing. Just imagine. We should be such a devotee. Today we have a lot of entertainment for Independence Day here, some bands and Pritosmi anugrihitosmi tava bhagavatasya vai darshana sparshana lapair atityenatma medhasa. Durvasa Muni said, I am very pleased with you, my dear king. At first I thought of you as an ordinary human being and accepted your hospitality, but later I could understand by my own intelligence that you are the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet and talking with you, I have been pleased and have been obliged to you. Okay, I want somebody to identify what's the mood of this verse. What is Durvasa Muni's mood? I'm reading this again. Durvasa Muni said, I am very pleased with you, my dear king. At first, I thought of you as an ordinary human being and accepted your hospitality. But later, I could understand by my own intelligence that you are the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet and talking with you, I have been pleased and have become obliged to you. What is the mood of Durvasa Muni in this verse? Students, simply not sitting and answer.
Krishna Prabhu,
Yeah.
Humility is completely taken over him by
okay.
and surrender.
Okay, maybe once more we can read the verse. Okay, humility. See, there are some words here. For example, okay. Atma Medasa. Atma Medasa means by my own intelligence. What do we understand by this?
Hare Krishna Guru. Durvasa Muni here treated Ambarīṣa Mahārāja as a normal person, like he did not see.
That is over. I am talking about this particular verse. In this particular verse, as Durvasa Muni is speaking, what seems to be his mood? So Sumantra Mataji said he has become humble. Soumya Mataji is saying that he still seems to have some false ego. See, very interesting thing. You know, he did not. Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu, कभी-कभी जैसे something आपकी बोलते ना मेरी आत्मा को निचोड़ दिया. Sometimes you think of a person in another aspect, and then when you come, when you really associate with him, I can tell you, like yesterday, it was an Adi Jagannath Prabhu's this thing.
Okay.
Prabhu, like, I mean, we all born with certain character, but when you look at him, I mean, if you're looking at him at a material aspect or a beauty aspect or intellectual, he never exhibited that he was a rank student or he came from such a high heritage place or something. No, he was born with that humbleness. And some people, when they just touch you, there's something within you which shakes you up.
Yes.
So that sort of, Durvasa Muni thought he was an exotic Muni, like nobody could touch him. He was full of anger. Anybody he could curse. But when he met somebody like Ambarīṣa Mahārāja, who was so, folding his hand, like he was so humble. उसकी आत्मा को जैसे बोलते हैं ना मेरे आत्मा को खींच दिया मेरे like he was ashamed to the core.
Okay.
I can relate this to Anadi Prabhu. Once, I will not mention the name of the person. I mean, he criticizes every devotee, and he criticized Jagannath Prabhu, Anadi Prabhu to the core, and it came up to my Prabhu. And Adi Prabhu came to know about it. He said, Prabhu, I was not even there. I don't even know why he's angry with me. He said, I will go and fall at his feet and say sorry. Though he was not there for that instant and he did not even know about it.
Yeah, that is
So,
Anadi Prabhu.
yeah,
I can vouch for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazingly
so,
good.
so Amrish, I mean, I don't know how, so Durvasa Muni is, the core of his heart is being twisted now.
Okay.
Atma, Gilani जैसे बोलते हैं आदमी.
Okay, let's read the purport. Let's see what Srila Prabhupada is saying. He said, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigeha Na Bhujaya. When even a very intelligent man cannot understand the activities of a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, although Durvasa Muni was a great mystic yogi, he first mistook Maharaj Ambarīṣa for an ordinary human being and wanted to punish him. Such is the mistaken observation of a Vaishnava. When Durvasa Muni was persecuted by the Sudarshana Chakra, however, his intelligence developed. Therefore, the word Atma Medasa is used to indicate that by his personal experience, he could understand how great a Vaishnava the king was. When Durvasa Muni was chased by the Sudarshana Chakra, he wanted to take shelter of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and he was even able to go to the spiritual world, meet the personality of Godhead, and talk with him face to face. Yet he was unable to be rescued from the attack of the Sudarshana Chakra. Thus, he could understand the influence of a Vaishnava by personal experience. Durvasa Muni was certainly a great yogi and a very learned Brahmana, but despite his being a real yogi, he was unable to understand the influence of a Vaishnava. Therefore, it is said, Vaishnavara Kriya Mudra Vigneha Na Bhujaya. Even the most learned person cannot understand the value of a Vaishnava. There is always a possibility for so-called Jnanis and Yogis to be mistaken when studying the character of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava can be understood by how much he is favored by the Supreme Lord in terms of his inconceivable activities. Okay, so Prabhupada is mostly focusing on how he misunderstood Ambarīṣa Mahārāja, how it is difficult. So this is also important. So we can't understand devotees. We can't understand Vaishnavas. Sometimes we try to understand Vaishnavas by our intelligence, now, which is what Durvasa Muni did. Durvasa Muni tried to understand Ambarīṣa Mahārāja by his own intelligence, and he failed miserably. He failed miserably to such an extent that he offended him. Now, the interesting thing is, he did not learn from Brahma, Shiva, or Vishnu. He didn't learn. He should have learned that, Brahma is saying, I can't do anything. Shiva is saying, I can't do anything. Vishnu is saying, I can't do anything. Still, till possibly Vishnu told him saying that, I'm Atma Parad, I'm Bhakta Parad, he looked like his intelligence had not helped him sufficiently. Meaning he had to go through some severe trauma to learn, to understand. Right? So this is very important, saying that, see, that is why Guru Sadhu Shastra is important. So Durvasa Muni was all by himself. So he had to go through so much suffering before he could realize what was going on. So this is one thing, right? So don't evaluate devotees by what you see. Many times I tell devotees, saying just give the benefit of doubt. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, and it's not required that we assess everything that other devotees do. We're not. Prabhupada elsewhere writes saying that, it's the thankless job of a guru to do that. Why you want to get stuck there? My Guru Maharaj also says, it's like a very difficult job to be a guru, because while a Vaishnava should not see defects in others, Guru has to see, to correct. So it's difficult, but so Durvasa Muni was not able to learn till he had that extreme experience of, like helplessness, complete helplessness, right? Finally, the only option was that he had to come and fall at Ambarīṣa Mahārāja's feet, because he knew that there's no other way he's going to be saved. And hence he came and fell. But he could have used his intelligence to prevent it from happening. And this is one problem again. I mean, it's again going back to this whole, our propensity to offend devotees. So this is one thing. Now, the other thing, when I read the verse, still there is some feeling. Still there is the use of words. For example, if suppose say we are in a receiving end, meaning, we've done something wrong, will you say, Prita Asmi, I'm pleased with you? I mean, I wouldn't have said that. So I feel somewhat that, yes, I also feel that there is some little bit of still something thinking that, he's maybe in a superior position to Ambarīṣa Mahārāja. But then finally, he, in the whole sentence, finally he says, okay, I'm obliged. But, this is important. What is there in our heart, it actually comes as words. I'm pleased with you was not required, as in, it could have been something else. Word could have been something else, saying that, I'm, what is it, like, positively affected by you, or, you are, like, yesterday I was having this conversation, right? Saying it could have been a third person address, right? Or it could have been direct glorification of Ambarīṣa Mahārāja, directly saying that, you're such a great devotee, right? So this thing that I am pleased, why is that important? It's not important in this scheme of things, right? So somewhat feels like, though Prabhupada is not commented, but somehow it feels like, and anyway, whether it is or not, at least for our own learning, we can understand, saying that, when we have done a mistake and, we are in the receiving end, we should not take a high-handed position, meaning we should not think that I am superior somewhat, right? And even the way we think, the way we speak, everything should bring out our actual humility, right? Which is why statements like, I don't like this, is false ego. Even if suppose the service is badly done, this is not properly done, is more like it than saying, I don't like this. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because we are born with this, this I business. So that's seen here. See, I told in the beginning also, Sanskrit is a language where this I is not used. Active voice, passive voice, if anybody remembers English grammar, active voice is in English is I do. I did is active voice. Passive voice is the work was done by me. Now, even if that by me is ignored or left out, it doesn't matter. The work was done. The focus is on what was done, not on me. But our, dear Britishers, they wanted to give so much value addition to our life that they made us so egoistic. By language only. Just language, just imagine, language makes you egoistic. And all languages have taken on that only, right? All other languages, except Sanskrit. If you are like proper Sanskrit person, then you'll understand that passive voice is the major usage in any Sanskrit literature. Active voice is rarely used. Rarely used. But in this verse, there is active voice. Pritaha asmi. I am pleased. So anyway, so that's one point. Yeah, the only way we can know whether we have false ego or not is to little bit analyze our speech. Our heart anyway we know, but sometimes we might not be able to identify. We are in some little bit slumber. It's material slumber. Material slumber means that we are supposed to introspect every aspect of our life as devotees, but we don't do that. We don't do that. So one good exercise for everybody is on a daily basis, introspect your day. Actually, it should reach a stage wherein you are introspecting every moment. But if to get there, we start with introspecting our day and at least some major incidents in the day, conversations, recognize, identify and see, okay, how did I deal with it? Is this as per Guru Sadhu Shastra or was I like just by my own, just on my own? And that will help us then slowly, steadily what will happen is every interaction, every moment of our life, we'll keep applying Guru Sadhu Shastra. Okay, was this right? Was this wrong? Was this right? Was this wrong? Was this right? Was this wrong? Because we are constantly looking at improving ourselves. It's very important. It's very important. It's subtle. We can't make out sometimes that we are egoistic, but it's important to understand, analyze. So the important thing also is that finally he comes to it. He says, simply by seeing you, Prabhupada has not expanded on these things in the purport, but we understand, right? Saying, simply by seeing a Vaishnava, one is pleased. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that everybody is pleased by a devotee and devotee is pleased by everyone. Meaning devotee doesn't see things of displeasure in others. He is pleased with everyone. And more importantly, everybody is pleased by a devotee. And this is also very difficult, sometimes one devotee, okay, how do I put it? Now, when one devotee is seeing 100 other people, he's not singled out, meaning there are, 10 people, maybe in 10 people, maybe 7, 8 people are really have exalted qualities. 2 people don't have such good qualities, it's okay, in the in the overall scheme of things, it might not, meaning he can generally be pleased with all the 10, even though 2 are not at that caliber. But look at the other way around. 10 people are looking at a devotee and seeing, making, passing a statement, concluding about the devotee, right? Meaning how much responsibility we have in the way we behave, in the way we do things, which is why I keep telling devotees, saying, don't be in your own world. Come to the outside world. People outside are seeing us. And the way we do, what we do, how we do, creates a big impression, and we are representing Srila Prabhupada. So this is also very, very important, like people are seeing us. Please remember this, people are seeing us. Anyway, simply by seeing you, touching your feet. See, yesterday, devotees didn't give me an opportunity at all. I wanted to touch all their feet, but they refused. Talking with you, sometimes we might feel that this is all mundane, but it's not mundane. We can't make out because we don't know, we can't distinguish maybe between mundane and supramundane or spiritual, material and spiritual, but a devotee has that kind of influence. Just by seeing a devotee, by talking to the devotee, of course, by touching lotus feet of a devotee, one becomes pleased. And actually, all disciples of Srila Prabhupada, that's one thing that everybody unanimously says, that like Prabhupada was like a 1,000-watt bulb. As in, he used to be always effulgent, and this is not of this material world. Obviously we can understand, okay, Prabhupada was from India, wheat color, right? Skin is wheat color, not fair, right? As in US and all, people are fair, right? But still he would attract people's attention, so much effulgence, right? So obviously, and and that effulgence that is carried is actually the effulgence of the soul. And the effulgence of the soul, once the soul is in Krishna consciousness, it has regained its constitutional position. Then, ye Atma suprasidati. So the Atma is happy. And when the Atma is happy, what happens to other people who come in touch with that Atma? They also become happy. So this is indication of the devotion of a devotee. Very, very important. And you can make out. You can just make out by seeing devotees. Many devotees are just in the dress of devotees, but they're far from being devotees. But we can make out. And we should associate with those devotees with whom, we feel this, we experience this. We can understand that those are actually real devotees. Anyway, this is very, very important. The position of a Vaishnava. That's why when senior devotees come, we should, even if we get an opportunity to just see them, it's fortune. It's fortune. Let alone touching their lotus feet or talking with them. Maybe sometimes, sometimes, for at least personally, I don't feel qualified to go near senior devotees, then if I open my mouth and say some rubbish, so I just keep quiet and remain behind somewhere, so for such nonsense people like me, just by seeing them also we get benefited. When talking with them, seeing them, touching their lotus feet, it's amazing. Vaishnava. So Prabhupada is highlighting, saying Vaishnava is great. Don't underestimate him, don't misunderstand him, don't criticize about him. I was just telling over Prasadam here, saying that I'm the only fortunate soul in this preaching center who knows the rahasya of all devotees. And I know how exalted some devotees are, how fallen other devotees are. I know everything, to whatever extent Krishna wants me to know. And there are amazing devotees. And there are devotees who need to really improve their devotion. But just being in the midst of amazing devotees is very inspiring. It's very inspiring. And this is the kind of association that is required. We need this kind of association. My own personal bhakti life, I felt that I was a little bit stuck. For 16 years of devotion, I somehow felt like I was being stagnant. Somehow not progressing. I mean, it's there, but it's not there. It's there, it's not there. That kind of feeling. And then, I'm telling few devotees saying that I'm not giving association now, I'm taking association. Though it looks to others like I'm giving association, but I know I'm taking association. So it's very, very important, So we should be in the association of such Vaishnavas. We should learn from them and serve them, and then we will also make progress by the mercy of Guru, Prabhupada, Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna. We can also make progress. Okay. So normally we glorify Krishna. And today we have the opportunity to glorify Vaishnavas. Glorifying Vaishnavas, actually Krishna is more pleased. Krishna is more pleased. So we should glorify Vaishnavas. Somewhere I was reading, I can't remember, saying that if you talk about a devotee, glorify the devotee. Don't talk otherwise. If you talk about a devotee, glorify the devotee. Otherwise, don't talk about the devotee. Just keep quiet. It's safer. Right? But if you glorify the devotee, it's great, because if it's genuine glorification, Krishna is pleased. Even if it is not genuine glorification, still that some glorification is coming from our mouth, it might please Krishna. Because it's very rare that glorification comes from our mouth, right? We are always like trying to pull others down. So this is nice, Try to genuinely glorify. It should also not be like from tomorrow suddenly everybody is like, oh, you are like this, you are like that. No qualities are there, simply glorifying. Like Prithu Maharaj says in Bhagavatam, tells all those Vandis and Magadas, they're all glorifying the king because he's a Shaktyavesha avatar of the Lord. And then Prithu Maharaj says, no, 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 what you're doing is not right. None of the qualities that you mentioned have actually manifested in me, though he would manifest them in the future. So he's saying, no, no, when I manifest those features, then you glorify me. Don't glorify me now. It is foolish for me to accept your glorification. So yeah, that's also not good. We see devotees who simply glorify, but they actually don't mean it. We don't want to be like that. That's hypocrisy. We want to glorify and we want to genuinely glorify. And those who are envious, they can't glorify, they can't see others being glorified. But this is not high class Vaishnava behavior, low class behavior. It's not even Vaishnava behavior, it's material behavior. False ego phone is ringing. So anyway, so this is nice. So we should become Vaishnavas, these kind of, Vaishnavas. Such exalted, exalted qualities, right? Ambarīṣa Mahārāja has shown. And finally, Durvasa Muni, in spite of his so much gripped by the mods, finally he came to the stage of understanding the great position of a great Vaishnava like Ambarīṣa Mahārāja. So let's practice this, try this. It's very easy to say this devotee said like this about me, this devotee is not okay, he doesn't treat me nicely, why should I treat him nicely? It's all easy. This is material. This is material. Spiritual is what Ambarīṣa Maharaj wanted to do, right? Fall at Durvasa Muni's lotus feet. So we can turn 360 degrees in our approach, in the way we deal with devotees. By glorifying them, putting ourselves down, feeling humble, meek, insignificant, unimportant, worthless. And it's nice, it feels nice. You feel freedom. You can't understand it, but you feel free. You feel like, I'm like flying in the air. Because no baggage of false ego when we can do that. And then we can make tremendous progress in devotion. Which is why the central theme of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sikshastakam is what? Trinadapi Sunichena. Because only after Trinadapi Sunichena the progress starts. Sometime we will discuss Sikshastakam. It's it's amazing actually, the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has spoken those verses. It's only after Trinadapi, right? So once we come to that Trinadapi state, then na dhanam na janam na sundarim. Now, till we come to that Trinadapi stage, then we are stuck. Either dhanam, janam, sundarim, something we are stuck somewhere. And so that humility is the tipping point, they say in English. It's a tipping point, meaning it will just move us from material to spiritual. Until we develop that real humility, bhakti life is a struggle, material life is a struggle, everything is a struggle. Everything is painful. So I think, we should just meditate on this. I'm just trying to soak, we should soak ourselves in this, in that, just picture Ambarīṣa Mahārāja in your mind, with his folded hands and, like in a humble receiving end. Though Durvasa Muni is full of pride on one side, we can see shouting and cursing, and on the other side, Ambarīṣa Mahārāja so humbly, just with folded hands, standing like nothing has happened. And then eventually offering glorious prayers to save him who offended him. Falling at his feet, very nicely, serving him hospitality. And after all this, Durvasa Muni saying that, he didn't get pleased initially by seeing Ambarīṣa Mahārāja. Now he's saying, I'm being pleased. I'm pleased by seeing you, by talking with you. And so we should learn this. It's a difficult lesson, but it's important. If we can just recognize, see the amazing qualities that are there in other devotees, and every devotee has great qualities. It's not like we have to Maybe we should search for good quality in ourselves, but we can find good qualities in others. It's not difficult. Do you want to find? Okay, so I'll close here. Anybody wants to say something? I didn't feel like proceeding further because it was such a amazing verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, how could any devotee allow you to touch their feet? You're a guru, you're teaching
No,
me.
no, it's
It is
fine.
not, it is not possible.
Okay, we'll talk
I mean,
about
I'm
something
not
else.
there. No, I'm not there.
We'll talk about
I would
something
have
else.
also touched your lotus feet yesterday.
We'll talk about something.
No,
Any other doubts?
no, Prabhu. You have to be very clear about this.
Okay,
You're
I'm stopping the
preaching.
recording. Hare Krishna.
You're preaching. You're on the level of a guru.